What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Power Play with CJ, part 2 of the two-part Florida Panthers series. Talking about one big, bold move they can make in the offseason. I know 2 years ago, I was advocating they make a move for Zach Parise, and that never came to fruition. But this one, I think, with the new ownership in place, could be a game changer. Like I said, they go through a rebuild this season. They get assets back. They clear some cap room. Not that they need it anyway. They have cap room to burn. And there's a goalie in New York by the name of Henrik Lundqvist who I give it a 70% chance he stays with the Rangers. 2 months ago I would have said 99% chance, but he's gonna be a free agent on July 1st, and I think the Panthers can be a fit for him. Now let's talk about why Lundqvist would leave New York first. The coaching staff, he wanted Tortorella out. That's obviously not really that. That's not a secret, but I don't know how well he's taken Avino. I don't know if he's had a nagging injury this season, and that's been, he's out for a couple games. That's been the reason he's struggled so far. I mean, he's obviously one of, if not the best goalies in the league. But, I think I think he'll stay again. I think he needs to play in an international city. He's an international superstar. He's married to a Swedish princess, for God's sakes. What, a Spice Girl wasn't available, Hank? And, there's 4 international cities in the U.S., all 4 in that hockey. We'll get to the 4th one in a second. New York, he plays there. LA has Quick locked up. Chicago has Crawford locked up. And then Miami's an international city, and the closest thing they have to a hockey team is the Panthers, who play, 40 minutes away. So there's that. No state income taxes in Florida. Again, South Florida's been pretty good at luring free agents. That guy LeBron's all right, and I mean they recruited Jose Reyes and Mark Burley there as well, but that didn't work out too well because Jeffrey Lorenzo should be in prison for defrauding the city of Miami. But that's a different story entirely. But back to Lundqvist. I mean, I think he'd give them a look if they called, and they agreed to use the cap room and put some other pieces around him, like maybe Thomas Vanek. Vanek and King Henrik to South Florida would be interesting. And, with the assets they acquire in this coming fire sale, maybe move them, get another veteran player. And, not going to be an overnight contender, but you get a team that can compete in the Florida East Division, especially with Lundqvist. A great equalizer between the pipes. And I think for the Panthers it would make sense. Obviously, Tim Thomas, we're a month into the season, and we're getting right about what we expected. And Markstrom, 5 years after being one of the first picks in the second round of the '08 draft, really hasn't developed as much as I would expect him to. He's not goalies take longer to develop. That's obviously, ain't that the truth? But he just seems to be more. There's some inconsistencies there that I didn't foresee him having coming out of Sweden, and I don't know. Maybe it's the defensive front of him, maybe it's the inconsistency in the coaching staff. Even though Dineen's been there since he's been there for the most part, he was up at the end of the Pete DeBoer era for a couple games, but we'll see what happens. But this is going to be a situation to watch because if Lundqvist leaves New York, there's only so many places he'll go because a lot of teams have money locked up long-term in goaltenders, and the Panthers really don't. They got Markstrom locked up for a year or two beyond this season, I believe, but they don't have that big money contract. There's no, and to piggyback on the international city part of it, Canada has 3 international cities, in my opinion: Montreal, Toronto, and Vancouver. Vancouver's saddled with a Luongo deal. Montreal's got the Carey Price deal, and Toronto's got both Bernier and Reimer in place. So that's another thing to watch. Maybe they let both of them go, and they bring in Lundqvist. I don't know, but right now I give the Panthers a 20% chance of landing King Henrik because there's so many markets that make sense for him, and that have money to spend on a goalie, and ownership I think would be willing to spend money to get him in the fold. Anyway, that's on this episode of the Power Play with CJ on the part 2 of the 2-part Florida Panthers series. Stay tuned for episodes throughout the season and beyond. Later, guys.